Hello, everyone. This is the most magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with another character review. And this character review is going to be on Gold Mythic Emperor Ezekiel. Now, like I said before, I really like the name Emperor Ezekiel. It reminds me of another emperor who I had a rant about more recently. Not really gonna go into the rant again. You know, if you know, you know. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing alright. And I'm staying safe for the most part. And at the time of this recording, I might as well go ahead and do this now because I finished and I got all of my milestones for the current Blitz War. Although by the time you guys get this, it's most likely going to be Memorial Day. So yeah, even though today is Saturday, it's probably more than definitely going to be Memorial Day when you guys get this. So yeah, I don't think we should waste any more time. I think we should go ahead and jump into this character review, shall we? Emperor Ezekiel, Kingdom. His trait is strong. His role is a support character. And his allegiance is a member of the kingdom. Now let's take a look at his stats. His attack stat is 23,068. His defense 17,301. And his HP is also 17,301. Now let's take a look at his adrenaline rush. Deadly Flurry. The recharge rate is 66 AP, so that's pretty much the standard for most gold mythics. Attack an enemy for 300% damage. Make an additional attack for each living enemy. One other enemy gets 7,000 trauma for 2 turns. Okay. I mean, let's be honest. 300% damage, it's not really a whole lot of damage. But, it's an okay amount. It's an okay amount, but, I mean, I was expecting him to do a little bit more damage, but honestly, I don't know why I was expecting him to do a little bit more damage, but 300% damage, plus he will make an additional attack for each living enemy. So, okay, so if the team enemy that you're facing has all 5 enemies still living, that's 4 more attacks. Assuming that all of those 5 attacks go to all of the, you know, if those 5 attacks, just assuming those 5 attacks go to the whole team. I mean, that we don't know quite yet, but the more enemies that are alive, the more attacks he will make, which is kind of interesting. Plus, one other enemy will get 7,000 trauma for 2 turns, and that's actually pretty good. Although, is 7,000 a lot? I mean, it's kind of in the middle. It's a decent amount, but I've seen the trauma go up higher than that. I think Denise, what does she give out, like 14,000 trauma? See, I've done a character review on her, but that's been well over a month ago. So I can't remember exactly, but I know she gives out trauma for like 2 or 3 turns. Honestly, this is an okay adrenaline rush, but honestly, if you can somehow get his attack stat really high and get him to hit harder, that actually might go over pretty well, maybe in the future, but, you know, we'll see. Now, let's go over his signature move, Strike Fear. The initial cooldown is turn 1. Number of cooldowns 2 turns. Number of uses unlimited. Attack an enemy for 300% damage. That enemy gets 10% of this fighter's attack stat as trauma for 2 turns. Ooh, okay. Honestly, that second part, you know, not only are you attacking an enemy, if I can talk, if you know, you're not only attacking an enemy for 300% damage, but also that enemy is also getting 10% of Ezekiel's attack stat as trauma. And depending on how high that attack stat is, that could be a lot of trauma. And honestly, I really like that. That's a little bit better than the adrenaline rush, because you potentially could be dealing out more than 7,000 trauma, you know. And honestly, that's really good, because whenever, yeah, I'm pretty sure trauma works if you try to do a signature move or do an adrenaline rush. That trauma is going to completely wipe that enemy out, and that's going to be really good. And that trauma could get really high. I actually like that a little bit more than the adrenaline rush, but I mean, I don't think it will be too crazy, but maybe it will be a little crazy with the trauma, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. Now let's take a look at his mythic abilities. Cunning. When attacking or being attacked, 30% less likely to trigger enemy weapon effects and walker effects. Obviously, with this character, that's going to work really well. So I would go ahead and definitely level that one up. Bloody Slash. When attacking, 100% chance to deal 10% of this fighter's attack stat as bleed damage for 2 turns. Just like the 10% of the, 10% of his attack stat will deal out trauma, he's also going to be dealing 10% of his attack stat as bleed damage. That honestly could be really good. Like, potentially. So you might want to think about leveling that one up, honestly, because you could get that bleed to be really high depending on how high Emperor Ezekiel's attack stat is, and that potentially could be really good. So yeah, I would definitely think about leveling that one up for sure. Quick Tricks. When attacking, 100% chance to remove impair and apply impair to the enemy for 2 turns. Okay, that one could actually be really useful, honestly. See, that's one that I would potentially maybe use, because certain teams I'm coming up against, I'm just getting impaired left and right. So that one honestly might be a really great one for me. When attacking, he has 100% chance to remove the impair and then also apply the impair to that enemy for 2 turns. Now, I wonder, this is the only thing. Now, does that mean he's going to remove the impair just only from himself? Or is that going to be different teammates? That isn't really said. Now, it'll be really great if he's going to remove the impair from himself and teammates, but if it's only from himself, I mean, you might want to think about it. It all depends on how that's supposed to work. I just had to get a quick sip of this drink before we continued. Okay. Now let's continue. Traumatic start. At the start of each wave and turn, a random enemy gets 6,000 trauma for 2 turns. Ooh, I really like that. I really like that, bro. Like, I do. So, if you level that one up, trauma's just going to be all over the place from Ezekiel, from Emperor Ezekiel. Okay, I kind of maybe see why he's now named Emperor Ezekiel, because to just dish out trauma like that, that's so evil, man. But yeah, at the start of each wave and turn, that whole enemy team potentially is going to have trauma everywhere. That's crazy. And then also, he has trauma on his adrenaline rush and trauma on his signature move. Yeah, you're definitely going to be giving out trauma everywhere on the opposing team, and I love that. I love that, for sure. I really like Cunning, Bloody Slash, and Traumatic Start. Now, Quick Tricks potentially could be great too, but it isn't really clear if it's, you know, if you're removing Impair from your teammates or only Ezekiel. I'm not sure on that one, but the other mythic abilities are great, I feel like. Now, let's take a look at his specialist skill. Hid Hunter. If this fighter performs a critical hit on a target, the target gets crosshairs for 3 turns. Ooh, that's, you know, Head Hunter is a pretty great specialist skill. Who has it? Let's see. Duck has it. Lydia has it. Raven has it. And we know how hard those 3 tunes can hit, especially Raven. But man, you know, if you apply the Head Hunter and Trauma together, oh my goodness. And if those enemies try to use their adrenaline rushes, and if they have Head Hunter on them, that Trauma's going to take them out, and bye-bye, enemy. Most likely they won't be coming back, and that's a good thing. I actually really like this with his kit a whole lot, for sure. Definitely. I definitely love his kit so far. Now, let's take a look at his weapon. He doesn't really have a weapon, so you can pretty much put whatever you want in. You can pretty much put whatever you want into his hands. And honestly, if you're thinking about going for this character, it might not be such a crazy idea to maybe buy the battle pass this time around. I know as I am against the battle pass, that weapon that's in the battle pass would work really well, I feel like, with this character. That would give him just another way to deal out trauma, because I do believe there's trauma on that one weapon right now in the battle pass, so I could see people potentially trying to get Emperor Ezekiel and then buying the battle pass, because I will say this particular weapon is a lot better than the weapon from the last one, for sure. It actually goes with the character very well. And it's another way that he would be giving out trauma, but I think honestly he's giving out enough trauma. Even if you don't go for the weapon, you can just put whatever else into his hands. Like, you could put a healing stone weapon, which is, like, honestly, my preferred choice is to go ahead and put a healing stone weapon 1535. I think that would work really well with the character. But also that trauma sword that you can get from the battle pass would work pretty well with this character, I think, specifically. Although it could work with other characters in the future, that would be I would say a good reason to buy this battle pass, especially if you're going for this character. I'll be honest, I really love his getup. One thing is consistent with Ezekiel throughout the Walking Dead universe. I would say at least one thing, probably two things, but definitely one thing with Ezekiel that's the most consistent is his fashion sense. I mean, he goes all out on whatever he wears, and I love that. That isn't like the top reason that I like his character, but I gotta admit, I just love his outfits. Even if there's been a crappy Ezekiel character, and there has been, so in all of them, his attires, his fashion has always been top notch, in my opinion, and I really love his getup here. And I would definitely love to try to get this character, but I don't know. 5 copies of him is going to cost 200,000 javelin heads. And like I said, I got all the war milestones right now, and I only got 13,000 javelin heads at the time of this recording. So, I don't know. We'll see. We will see if he'll be achievable free to play. Because I would love to have this character. And his avatar, I know his avatar is going to be sick. So, and I also love the artwork. Shiva just hanging out behind him, being his guardian angel, for sure. And, yeah. I don't think I have much else left to say. Then I think he's actually a pretty decent free-to-play toon, assuming he's free to play all the way, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys for today. What are your thoughts on Gold Mythic Emperor Ezekiel? You know my thoughts. I really like his character. I really like his kit. I think it goes pretty well together. And I don't know. You know my thoughts already, so what are your thoughts? Do you think he's a good toon? Do you think he's bad? Do you think he has the potential to be greater later on? Whatever your thoughts are on him, let me know down in the comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.